Alright, let's see if we're recording. Alright, cool. Converting between BurlCAD and other formats, John Anderson, U.S. Army Research, ARL, Army. Alright, convert to ASC2, G2, ASC2 at slash ASC2G, release 6.0, ASC2 format, the TCL script, the database format, the machine independent for the IEEE floating point architectures. No need for the ASC to move the database to different machines. Older ASC2 formats still supported by the ASC2G creates new database format. The G2 ASC database, the G database ASC works for all database. G2 ASC database is less than the database G. The greater than the database ASC works only for pre-release 6.0 database. Pre-release 6.0 database converted to old ASC2 format. ASC2 databases, ASC databases, and databases new format executed with the TCL interpreted old format. Each record is read and converted into new database format. Any poly-sided get converted by bag of triangle primitives. Database upgrade, old database, new database, converts to pre-release 6.0 database, convert file, any poly-solid converted to the bag of triangle primitives. Construct solid geometry or CSG. BurlCAD is part of the Boolean combination primitive, the shape, the boundary representation, BREP. Most commercial CAD systems are as part of the group of the surface of the divine and the boundary of this part. Alright, converting the constructed solid geometry to boundary representative geometry, converting each of the primary part of the facet, the boundary representative, then performs Boolean operation output each part of the facet boundary represented. Drawing, converting boundary representative to the constructive solid geometry, converts surface of each of the polygons, output each of the part of the facet primitive. You have your database ACAD, 10-kill, virtual reality, markup language, Wave, X3D, and Euclid. The star means that they are not to native format. BurlCAD objects advanced computer-aided drafting format. Advanced computer-aided drafting on the computer-aided drafting package developed within the Lockheed Fort Worth Company. Distributed electromagnetic code assortment as of 1995 is not the AutoCAD. Your advanced AutoCAD options output file input G database options and I output into the default millimeters XL liberated deflag retrace H region definition debug XXL larger XL non-manifold graphic library debug definition debug A error file send error message specified with the file default with the standard error V verbose print and print out progress information. Tolerance distance of the calculation the millimeters default with its 5,000 or 5 to 10,000. They are release test tool. The relative testalization tolerance of 0 to 0.1 to 1.0. Our default is 0.10. The ABS test tolerance absolution test tolerance specified value in millimeters override R. No nominally test tolerance set sort of the normal testalization term. Which is the angle and the radians override or G10 kill convert BurlCAD object with the British 10 kill format triangle the G10 kill option input G objects surrounding code set surrounding code that use the default 1000 I indents output region identified specified rule output file name set output file name required except the VR ANX and X options. Alright, virtual database virtual reality managing language. Convert the BurlCAD object with virtual reality managing language to format option for the input of the group objects. The T tolerance distance is equal to the calculation of the tolerance of the millimeters. Set defaults in 5,000 units. Desired outputs in the millimeters. Output file name sets the output file name input side standard out all except the VR ANX and capital X options. Your database wave converts the BLK with the object with the wavefront object in format with the G database wave options input with the G the group object sets shapes option with an M and include the use of the material statements for the output encoded air code logistics material number, the I sets of the output with the inch of the default millimeter, the G tolerance, distance, calculation tolerance, millimeters, defaults 55,000, use, indicate the vertex, shift the normals in the output, all except the V, R, and NX options, the BurlaCAD object, the XD3D format, GX3D options, input, database objects, the D tolerance, instance, distance system, set distance calculation is millimeters, 5,000 units for the set output, the millimeters output, file name, set output, file name, standard output, VRNAX options. Alright, the database Euclid converts the BurlaCAD object to Euclid to be coded with the faceted format. Note the native Euclid, G is in Euclid options, input G objects, U ownership of the default minimum O output file name, set the output file name, default standard output, except the VRNAX options. Alright, your conversion of the GXXX combination skeleton code of the developing converter with the BurlaCAD to any faceted triangle format may need updating to undo the map primitive of the bag of triangles, extrusion, and DSP. Converters show the CYG, DX, ENF, Euclid, Fast Forward, Patch, Nastron, Pro Engineer, STL Tank, and Viewpoint. Converters convert the cyberware digital data, laser scan data, the spring of the BurlaCAD ARS primitive data must be cylindrical scan format. Your DXX database convert the AutoCAD to DXF format. BurlaCAD was developed prior to the AutoCAD even the ASCII system. Does not support ASCII object with the DX file. Convert the 3D face to 3D mesh intent even to produce a single primitive. DXX option the V verbose print the progress information P produce the bag of the triangle the default of the non-manifold graphics primitive of the D tolerance is the distance calculation of the millimeter default of the 5,000 input file with set the input file name default and standard input. O output file name set the output file name default standard output. Enforce your EN4 and Elysium neutral for facilitated file with BurlaCAD March converted with the BurlaCAD region the consist of the bag of the triangle primitive the number of the increment of each for the ring and part with the name of the mapping file with the provided the part name with the input file name will be out even the corresponding name from the mapping file. Your Elysium neutral faceted options input file database the I starting indent start with the indent number the 1000 end part name mapping set of the mapping of the input names the output names T tolerance distance the distance calculation millimeters default 5,000s. Convert the ASC Euclid decoded format file with the BurlaCAD each part with the converted with the BurlaCAD region consisting of single primitive Euclid G options input Euclid database set at the input file name default with standard input the output BurlaCAD database set output file name default standard output D tolerance is set to the calculation millimeters default is 5,000 P produce the bag of triangle primitive the default the non-manifold graphics all except the V X and X options. Or your fast 4G converts fast generator BurlaCAD Fast 4G faceted format use the Navi and Air Force Fast 4G option Fast 4G input output graphics of the database verbose debugging output Q printing nothing except the errors WD printing warnings about creating default names and O pilot file name creates Unix plotted file of the CTR and C quad elements process. Your fast forward generation continues C component list the process of any of the listed region entities made a list or a range in MU file names creates MU's input files of the CHG comp and C backing elements B level since library of the BU debug flag X level liberating debug flag your patch G converts the preprocessed fast generated version 3 to BurlaCAD patch G with the option of the output of the fast generated RP specifically process the fast generator file with the A process the phantom armor the N process the mode with the late mode with the U pound number the I unit operated per region default 5 C XYZ bracketed center object with the inches with some sort of the normal calculation T title optional title default MGD database object name of the option top level name default all. Alright, your patch G continued options P right volume plate mode with the component of the base with the triangle with the 6 process plate with the mode of the triangles RB 611 arbitrated points of 6 of overrides P for the triangles your I group file specify the group with the label the source of the file with the M mat file specified material information source file the R reverse the normal the plate mode triangle D level to set the D level the X level that's liberated ray tracing debug file XL level that sets the library ray trace non-manifold graphic debug file T tolerance distance set the distance and tolerance and instance parallel tolerance set the tolerance and tolerance and sin. Or your Nastron Z, convert the Nastron file with the BurlaCAD currently only converts to the CBAR, CRD, and CTR 3 and squad 4 elements of the Nastron G options. The Nastron input file is the Nastron file with the default is standard input. The output graphic database set the out file with the default of the Nastron G. The and produce the Nastron not manifold primitives the default with the bag of triangle primitives. Alright, object continue with the X level liberty with the ray trace debug flag, and then the non-manifold default bag track the XL level, the tolerance distance with the calculation millimeter default 5,000s, M set for the units of millimeter default is inches. Alright, your pro engineering converts the AC2 with the BRL file with the BRL CAD database U with the original with the Pro Engineer BRL converted with the Pro Engineering release of the position Puro A the 2 alpha with the Pro option with the Pro FI with the BRL output database option the deprint additional debugging information 1 starting an indent send additional region with the indent number to default 1000 I indent number some of the negative indent number that will be assigned for all regions conflicts with negative I. Alright, options. Union registered experiment indicate the portion of object with name names regular expression showed ignored. A create the BurlaCAD air region from everything in the model. R model to show the reorientated scale. S input files show the STL share lithograph format and the tolerance distance calculation tolerance millimeter for the distance for these 5,000s. X level of the set the library retrace debug flag. Your Pro Engineering 2001 use the Pro Engineering protocol data file with the insert of the BurlaCAD convert with the Pro part of the Pro Engineering new menu in the item of the Pro BRL insert of the Pro Engineering file menu of the menu after the Pro Engine model. Pro Engineering dialog box pop up where you can enter the output file name starting indent number the practical facialization control factors output the new BurlaCAD ASD format TCL ceramic script the ACS2 G to convert the BurlaCAD database. For AST stereolithograph from the BRL CAD database, create the single BurlaCAD reach consisting of a single bag of triangle perimeter standard list. The STL G option with the input of the STL file output G. The C units of the standard specified G for the unit of the STL file defaults millimeter. N object the name of the name of the output object D the printing additional debugging information. I indent number of the indent number that will be assigned with the region. Options continued. M material code of the internal material code of the region. Default 1. The union registration experiment with the indicator of the portion of the object of the mass of the regular expression. The regular expression should be ignored. A create the BurlaCAD air of the region from the everything in the mile with the T tolerance distance set distance calculation millimeters different 5,000 X levels if the library rate trace debug flag. Your tank kill database convert the British tank kill to the form of the BurlaCAD the tank kill option. The V for the verbose print of the progress information. P for produce bag of triangle print the default of the non-manifold graphic primitives. Keep the components within the ID of 1001. Normally skip the lower X level library rate trace debug file and the X level non-manifold library debug file. All right. The viewpoint database convert the viewpoint data the data labels or elemented format Burlak camera will assign the vertex normal with the present and input file with the 2 files are expected with the same vertex coordinate with the optional normals. Second, which relates with the vertex normal to each of the polygon faces. Your viewpoint continued option with the C coordinated file name set for the option input for the vertex coordinates file with the name the required E elements file name they set for the input file name required output file and then set for the output with the BurlaCAD database name default viewpoint database orange or G for group tolerance distance calculation tolerance millimeter default 5,000s. Alright, future converter plans. Unigraph of the BurlaCAD converter of the currently under testing should be in the next release. The CATIA BurlaCAD converter plan for the official year of the GCS database STL converter plan for the official year of the improvement of the converter for the commercial system and use the construction history. And this was converting BurlaCAD to other formats.